This is the van tour you've all been waiting for. We're going to show you through our Hymer Aktiv 2.0. We're also camping with our friend who has the Hymer Aktiv 1.0. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to show you the differences between the two vans. Now the 1.0 is on the Ram ProMaster 2500 chassis. It is 19 feet 7 inches long. The 2.0 is on the Ram ProMaster 3500 chassis and is 20 feet 10 inches long. They both stand at 9 foot 5 inches tall with the AC unit on the top. First, let's get the most popular question out of the way. How much did we pay for our van? Well, we've partnered with Hymer and this van is on loan to us for a year. So we didn't actually buy it. The MSRP of the Aktiv starts around $93,000 and goes up from there depending on what options you add. The first place you can see a difference in size between the two vans is on the passenger side. The sliding door opens and covers the rear window of the 1.0, and on the 2.0, the sliding door doesn't cover the rear window. Once I got used to it and got the seat in just the right position, the Ram ProMaster is actually very comfortable to drive. It has a nice ride and an amazing turning radius. The engine has enough power, except it's a bit sluggish when we're going up really steep hills. We don't mind having to take our time going up the mountains because we're not in a race and we get to see more scenery. So it's just another excuse to slow down and embrace the pace. Let me show you around the side of the van. The gas fill is right over here, which gets confusing when we're in Oregon and it's all full service. We always have to show them where the gas fill is. That's the coax connection. We never use it because we never watch TV. We will do the random movie night here or there, but otherwise we're working or just hanging out. That's the connection for shore power. We've only plugged in once so far, so at least we know it works. And that is the exhaust for the Truma. Now when I said people have a difficult time finding the gas cap, usually they try unscrewing this first before we have to tell them where it is. This is Kate's little realm here. We've got the cassette toilet. And if you haven't seen some of our previous videos, it's actually very easy to take out, pull, and then push back in once you're done with it. There is a key to lock it, but we never lock it because we figure no one's going to want to steal a used cassette. At the rear driver's side of the van is the fresh water fill. The tank is right down at the bottom, and if we ever do any cold weather camping, we're going to have to winterize this thing because a lot of the lines and the water tank is actually exposed to the elements. Back of the camper van, we have an over-the-air antenna, which we never use, the backup camera, a swing away tire carrier, and then the double doors. The tire carrier is a bit heavy, but it's easy to bring down. Pull out the pin. Use the legs, not the back. These doors swing all the way out and we can enjoy the view from our bedroom. This is where we keep our camping chairs, water hose, electric cables, some spare beer. There's Leo in his den. Hey buddy. This is where he sleeps at night. And it's nice to open the doors and give him a lot of cool air to keep him comfortable. Our camping table. And then this is access to the pass-through storage. I keep all my tools right here to be handy when I need them. And you can see with the 2.0, we have the 3 cabinets up top as opposed to the 2 in the 1.0. The length difference between the Aktiv 1.0 and 2.0 is 1 foot 3 inches, and that is all in the bedroom. That means this bed is shorter and there is less storage area in the 1.0. At the top, the 2.0 has 3 cabinets where the 1.0 only has 2. There is also one less cabinet at the bottom and less storage on this side of the van. Even though our bed is bigger, we still sleep east to west like our friend does in her 1.0. There's also a nice screen that comes all the way down so we can keep the bugs out. And 2 speakers in the back, so if we ever want to play music off the stereo system, we can hear it in the bedroom. Leo, how you doing, bud? Huh? He loves it back here. A lot of people have asked whether or not Leo has enough room in the van. He does, and this is his favorite area. Stays a lot cooler than the rest of the van, plus he's got it all to himself. And at places like this, he has all of this as his backyard. All right, bud, I'm closing up shop. This is another feature we never use. It's the outside TV hookup. There is a outlet here that we've used a few times, but aside from that, we just leave the TV inside for movie night. Underneath there is the propane tank. There's also a nozzle that you can hook up an outdoor barbecue to. And then we can open this door all the way. Oh, Leo's escaped. Hey, bud. And then close the screen, keep the bugs out. There's a power step that we normally keep locked out, and a nice awning right above us. You want to hang out outside? He loves being by the beach in Oregon. Forgot to mention earlier, this is where our gray hose is. And I've got to dump us before we get back on the road. Pretty easy. The gray tank is 23 gallons. That's it. Time to wash my hands. I'll know when the tank is full when it starts overflowing. It's really difficult to get under there and see the level of the tank while you're filling up, so I just wait until it starts coming out the overflow valve and then I turn it off. We used to connect an inline filter for the water tank, but we figure since all of our drinking water goes through the Berkey anyway, we just put it straight in, and that's one less thing for us to carry around. I really love this hose. It doesn't kink up like the old one used to, and I can get it into a nice tight ball so I can fit it in a small container. And if you're curious about any of the products that we've mentioned in this video, just check out the store on our website. We'll put a link in the video. All set? One of our favorite things about our camper van is this kind of open living room area. We really like this layout because it gives us both a place to sit, work, have meals, invite friends over, and Leo loves to hang out here. A lot of times he'll go and sleep under the table or behind this chair. The other nice thing is both of these chairs do flip around. Most of the time the driver's seat just gets pushed forward and we'll store things like backpacks or we've got a watermelon back here, so we use that space up front as storage when we're parked somewhere. A lot of times in the morning, I like to flip this chair around and sit here with my cup of coffee. Kate will sit on the bench seat and she'll work from there. When we have friends over, both chairs get flipped around. We'll bring the table out, all sit down, have a meal together. Or on movie night, we flip the chair around. Kate and I will sit here, have our bowl of cherries, and watch movies for the evening. So it's a really comfortable space, and it makes it feel like there's a lot more room in the van, especially when we open the sliding door. That lets in a lot of light, plus we can sit here and stare out at the ocean, the forest, wherever we happen to be parked. The shades behind me are homemade. The front shade that came with the van was one of those accordion style shades, It was letting in a bit too much light and didn't offer the privacy that we were looking for. So we found a homemade solution that worked for both the front and the side windows. The storage area above me is where we keep some of our more useful items when we're driving, like our USB cords for the phones that we can plug in up front, tissues, and a few other little things here and there. When we're going down the road, we find the front driver's compartment area really comfortable. These chairs are nice. Leo likes to come and sit right between the two of us and see what's going on out that front windshield. One of the big bonuses for being in a van is that we have these two side doors. It's really handy when we pull up to a gas station or something like that, so we don't have to go crawling through the RV or the motorhome to get out of the side door. Above the driver's compartment is a storage area that we use to keep a lot of things that we want to be able to get to right away. So sometimes we'll keep books, hats, our gym bags, things like that up here. And one of our favorite features, the skylight. Lets in a lot of light, fresh air, and it has a bug screen that goes over so we can keep that closed at night and no mosquitoes get in. Or if we want it dark, put the nightshade over and we don't get sun coming in. A lot of times we'll keep it like 50-50 so that we get some air in and some shade, so it keeps the van really cool. This is Kate's favorite place to sit. She finds it really comfortable. I like it because there's a lot of room and it's great for video editing at this table. Plus, there are 2 outlets and a USB plug to charge all of our devices. We keep our WeBoost cell phone booster right here on the table. And when I need the extra room, I just flip this over. And now I have my whole setup and room for my coffee. Above me, there's an LED light for working at night. A speaker for the stereo system. I can open the blackout shade. Pop the window all the way out and we get a really nice breeze in here. Or can bring it in and there's kind of a midway notch where if I lock it in, there's a small crack. It still lets air in, but it's nice because people can't come over and try to open the window up. In case there are bugs, there's also a bug screen. When we're ready to go to bed, nightshade goes back down. Above the bench and the table is a storage cabinet. Up here we keep a lot of our work stuff. So we've got our WeBoost cell booster, DVD player for the TV, a lot of our business cards, little odds and ends, cables and things like that that we need. And speaking of the TV, this is a 24-inch flat screen. Has a nice little lock to keep it in place while we're driving. When we want to watch TV, we're able to swing this away and watch it from the bedroom. But what I like to do is just take it off the mount. Then I can put the TV anywhere we want to watch it. A lot of times we'll set it up on the sink and we'll sit in those front 2 chairs, watch our movie. Above the sliding door is our control panel. These switches on the left control our EcoTrek lithium-ion batteries, and we've put black tape over them because these little LED lights are extremely bright when it's dark in the van. So we do that to help us sleep at night. These switches allow us to turn the batteries on and off as well as reset them. This is the control panel for the Truma Combi. It's a combination furnace and water heater. Really haven't used the furnace too much yet because we haven't been in cold weather. The neat thing about the Truma Combi is we have the option to either just run it on electricity, electric and propane, or just propane. The advantage of this is since we have so much battery power, solar power, and if we're at a campground and need to plug in, we can run it on just electric and not use any of our propane. Moving over, this is our main control panel. At the top we have our patio lights that are on the awning, a water pump, on and off switch. This is our power step switch. By putting it up, it locks our power step out so that it doesn't go in and out every time we open the door. There is a safety feature, however. If you turn the ignition of the van on, the step will come in regardless. The inverter on off switch. Batteries on and off. If I switch this up, it'll cut off the batteries to the van. battery voltage, LP monitor. We just filled up the fresh tank, so that's full, and we just dumped the gray, so that's now empty. The black tank switch doesn't actually work. There is an indicator on the cassette toilet itself that'll tell us when it's almost full and we need to empty it. And finally, the awning switch, in and out, pretty simple. One thing we added to the van are these little 3M hooks. We can put our business cards up here, and we always keep our car keys here so that they're a really accessible location when we're in the van. At the entrance of the van, we took an old yoga mat, cut it in half, and we're using it to help Leo get in and out of the van. He was having a little bit of trouble with the slippery floors. Plus, it keeps a lot of the sand and mud and things from getting into the rest of the van when we step in. Right here, we have an improvised shoe bin. It's just an old tote that Kate used to put our shoes in, little broom, Leo's leash, all of Leo's poop bags, along with his travel water bowl, and then his regular water bowl for the van. Along the side, we have light switches. So these control the bathroom light and the floor lights. Another outlet, along with a USB port, and then switches for the overhead LED lights. We have a nice sized kitchen area, but one thing I've found is it's really tight this way, so a lot of times you have to be going side to side, so you start to get really good at doing a crab walk. Right above the sink, we have a nice little storage area. We keep some of our cups and things like that. Oh, gotta have a Hymer koozie. This is where the microwave would normally be, but when we ordered the van, we asked them not to put the microwave in because we really would never use it. So what they did instead is put this little shelf here with a door. Have a few things up there. And then Kate came up with the great idea to utilize this space with a tension rod to hold our paper towels and our kitchen towel. On our friend's van, she got the standard microwave, but has removed it in place of making an extra storage cabinet. Over here we have a nice size sink and a faucet that pulls out just far enough to fill up our Berkey on the other side. There are advantages to having a narrow space. We use this basket to keep things like fruits, vegetables, bottle of soap. And then of course is a 2-burner gas stove. This is where I make my coffee every morning. Kate likes to keep a towel here to keep things nice and neat. Also helps catch any spills. Below the sink we have 3 drawers. These all have locks on them to keep them from flying open when we're driving down the road. This first one is where I have my coffee station, along with all of our utensils and things like that. The drawers also have a soft close feature. This is where we keep all of our spices, grains, canned goods, a lot of food stuff. And then the one at the bottom is where we keep our bowls and things like that. Next to me is our 3.1 cubic foot refrigerator. Has a small freezer inside and just enough room for all the things that we want to put in there. For a small van, there is actually a lot of storage in here. There's a nice little cubby beneath the bench seat. That's where we store our tripods and gear like that. Here, there's a roll-up door. And this is where I store my beloved Breville grinder, along with a few other odds and ends that we toss in here. This storage compartment is actually pretty deep and pretty tall, so we can get a lot of stuff in. We've gotten a lot of questions from people asking us, what is that big silver shiny thing? Many of you think it's a coffee percolator, but I do not drink that much coffee despite what you've been told. This is a water purifier, and we've secured it with an old belt. If I move that out of the way, we have even more storage. This is our hanging closet. We rarely come in here because most of the time I'm just wearing a t-shirt. Kate does keep things like her soy sauce in here, so she's probably in here a lot more than I am. Number 1 rule in the van: if you ever have to move the Berkey, it always gets strapped right back. We do not want this coming loose while we're driving. And as I mentioned before, when we need to fill this with fresh water, just take the faucet, water goes right into the Berkey. If you're wondering about the height of the van, I'm 5'11", and from floor to ceiling it is 6'1", so I have plenty of headroom. Now let me take you into the bathroom. Welcome to the bathroom. This is actually a wet bath. The reason it's called a wet bath is because in the same room you use the toilet, you also shower. I am currently sitting on our cassette toilet. The flush button and the full indicator are right behind me there on the wall. Also behind me is a fold down sink, which we never use because we always brush our teeth and wash our faces in the kitchen sink. There is a medicine cabinet right here, along with a few LED lights. There are hooks on my left that we use to stow our towels. We use these hooks. They just go right up there. And the nice thing is they don't fall when we're driving. If we want to take a shower, there's a curtain that pulls across and keeps the medicine cabinet dry. We actually haven't taken a shower in here yet because we belong to a nationwide gym and we prefer to go in there and be able to take long, hot showers. We only have a 30-gallon water tank on here, so that would get depleted pretty quickly if we were both showering in here on a regular basis. On the floor, we keep things like our trash can and our recycling. Helps keep it out of the way so we don't trip over it in the hallway. And above me, if there are any funky smells, there is a fantastic vent we can turn on that'll suck all the air right out. This is our bedroom. The bed is 75 inches side to side, 73 inches front to back. So we end up sleeping side to side for the most room. And this is where you notice most of the difference between the Aktiv 1.0 and the 2.0. There's that extra 1.3 inches, and that's all at the back of the van. Over here we have the Dometic AC unit control panel, 2 light switches. Right here is where we keep our laundry in an old pillowcase. Kate has some clothes stored back here. This is my side. The reason I got this side for my clothes is these cabinets are actually deeper than the ones on this side, and like I always tell Kate, my clothes are bigger than hers are. There is a curtain that comes across to kind of block off the bedroom area from the rest of the van. We never use it, so we just took an old belt and we keep it tied up here on the side. Above me is the AC unit. We don't use it often, but one of the great things about the way the van's been set up is if we need to, we can turn on the AC and run it for a few hours off the battery. And if the batteries get depleted, we have Volt Start, which will kick the engine on, charge up the batteries, and keep the AC running, so Leo and us, we can stay nice and cool. The bed does fold up, but we always leave it in the down position. The reason for this is we really don't want to be making our bed every single night, and if we need to, we can crawl underneath the bed and access any of the stuff that we have stored down there. And I guess that's really the big difference between a weekender and a full-timer. If you're just out for the weekend, you set up your bed. When you're ready to go, put everything back. We always just leave the bed out so that whenever we get tired, we can crawl in, take a nap, or go to sleep. On both sides of the bedroom, there are LED light strips along with speakers so that if we want to play music off the stereo, we'll get sound back here. There are also windows on both sides. They open just like the windows up front and let in a lot of air while we're sleeping at night. This is Leo's bedroom. He's made this his den, and we've tried to make it as comfortable as possible for him. When we're driving down the road, we normally keep the Instant Pot stored back here. We have a lot of storage, so another big difference between the 1.0 and the 2.0 is we get an extra set of these drawers, and this big pass-through bay is 1.3 inches longer. In this cabinet, we have our inverter and batteries along with a little bit of storage. Aww. Down in these little cabinets, these swing out. And then we have these drawers that come out. They also have the soft close and the lock. On this side, we keep a lot of our cleaning supplies and shoes, hiking equipment, and it's easily accessible with these big doors. If we need to put long things in here like skis or that, there is that door on the back side of the van where we can access this pass-through bay as well. And for all of the things that we really don't need access to that often, there's another storage space right under the bed on the top of these cabinets. Next time, join us for a live stream where we answer your questions about how we make money while traveling full-time. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to see what life is like living out of a camper van, click up here and watch all the videos. Thank you again for watching. See you next time. Bye.